Have you ever thought what it could be like to be a police officer in pursuit of someone? Do you remember the death of Rayshard Brooks? Would you like to see how police handled the arrest and how he died? How do you think police would handle a man who punches a deputy? If you want to see the craziest cop videos on the planet, we have it all for you on Beyond the Badge. So, sit tight because we're getting started. Number 8, wanted subject.
Put your fucking hands up now!
In this video, Atlanta police received information that a wanted subject was in a specific area with several other male subjects. Officers were also advised that the males were potentially armed. An Atlanta air unit was then requested to assist with apprehending the wanted subject, as he was known to flee when approached by officers. Once all units were in place, the 3 males initially attempted to flee on foot, but after observing the strong perimeter set by the officers, the subjects surrendered and were taken into custody without any further incidents.
Tell them right here. What the hell going on, man?
After the arrests, officers located a handgun that was discarded by the original wanted suspect and a second handgun that was discarded by another adult male.
Hey!
During a safety check of the juvenile, officers located a third handgun that was later found to have been recently stolen. The suspects were identified and charged with possession of a firearm by a minor, reckless conduct, and a warrant for auto theft, while another suspect was also charged with false representation and reckless conduct, and a 16-year-old juvenile was charged with possession of a firearm by a minor and possession of tools for the crime of entering an automobile. It sure sounds like it was a barrel of fun for all.
Woo! Oh!
Number 7, alleged bag thief at airport.
Turn around. Turn around.
Atlanta police released a body cam video of an arrest at the airport of an alleged bag thief just days before Christmas. Bag theft has been a recurring issue at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and police have increased their efforts to deter it in recent months. The video shows an officer making their arrest at one of the ticket purchasing machines. The man doesn't resist as the police officer handcuffs him. The airport station is located at the far end of the baggage carousel area. The man had 1 blue bag and 1 yellow bag, which were returned to the owner, according to Atlanta police. The suspect was apprehended and faced theft charges for taking and removing a bag from an airport terminal that did not belong to him. Number 6, stealing trailer, drug possession, and guns.
It was right on top of this, and it just slid right out.
2 Daytona Beach residents were arrested after deputy sheriffs found them with drugs and guns while driving around, pulling a stolen dump trailer. Their arrest took place during a high-risk traffic stop when a deputy spotted them inside a red Ford F-250 pulling a black trailer. A check of the tag determined the trailer had been reported stolen 2 days earlier by its owner. Once all the occupants in the vehicle were detained, deputies found 2 loaded guns in the vehicle along with a strong marijuana odor.
Weed was in here somewhere.
Yeah, it's too strong.
Yeah. Unless they ate it all.
Yeah.
It turned out that the marijuana was hidden in their pants and was discovered while they were being processed. A third person found inside the vehicle was released from the scene with no charges. Number 5, woman with dementia.
Stop.
The city of Loveland, Colorado, has agreed to pay $3 million to an elderly woman with dementia who was arrested for shoplifting and suffered a dislocated shoulder and broken arm during her arrest. The footage from a police body camera shows one of the officers handcuffing Gardner and shoving her to the ground. According to the lawsuit, Garner was detained at the police station for hours before receiving medical attention, despite complaining about her injuries. The cop was charged with 2 felonies: second-degree assault causing serious bodily harm and attempting to influence a public servant. He was also charged with official misconduct, a misdemeanor. The second officer was charged with 3 misdemeanors, including failing to report the use of force, failing to intervene, and official misconduct. Number 4, man arrested for being naked in a hotel room. The city of Denver has agreed to pay a pilot $300,000 after he was arrested while naked in front of a hotel room window at Denver International Airport. When the pilot opened the curtains in his 10th floor room, he had no idea anyone could see him. He filed a lawsuit for wrongful arrest. The police officers can be seen arresting the pilot in his hotel room, with the pilot fully cooperating, not understanding why he is being arrested. The police officer can be heard telling him why.
So we got some interesting photographs of you standing in that window.
But the pilot can't understand because he was in the privacy of his hotel room. Honestly, I personally think this is ridiculous, and rightfully so. The man won his lawsuit. What a waste of time and taxpayers' money. Number 3, cop tackling Trump campaign aide.
But hey, we'll figure it all out, all right? Don't worry about it.
I didn't do anything.
The body cam video of Brad Parscale's arrest shows the Trump advisor's wife describing his meltdown to Florida cops, as well as officers tackling the shirtless and apparently drunk operative. Candace Parscale, wearing a towel over a blue bikini and fleeing the couple's $2.4 million waterfront Fort Lauderdale home, tells cops that her husband was acting crazy and irate when he cocked a gun, sending her running outside. The officers inquire about Pascal's health and politely request that he walk outside without his weapons.
I'm not trying to kill myself. Okay, come out here. That's fine. I'm your friend. All right, relax.
Pascal is later seen in the video, sitting on the front stoop of the house, wearing white shorts, no shirt, and holding a beer. He gets up and walks up to the cops, putting the beer on the back of a pickup truck in the driveway at one point. A cop can be heard telling him that everything is fine and that he should just relax. After Pascal appears to ignore several requests,
Oh, man, get on the ground. Get on the ground.
another cop is heard telling him to get on the ground and tackles him. Pascal panics and claims he did nothing wrong. He was eventually admitted for psychiatric evaluation. Number 2, Atlanta police shooting 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks. This body cam video depicts the events leading up to Rayshard Brooks' death. Police were called to a Wendy's restaurant after a man was found sleeping in his vehicle in the drive-thru. The footage from one of the officer's body cameras shows the start of the incident. The officer can be seen approaching Brooks' vehicle in the drive-thru queue as he arrives on the scene. Brooks appears to be sleeping behind the wheel, so the officer taps on the window to wake him up. The officer opens the door and informs Brooks that he is parked in the middle of the drive-thru queue.
Hey, you're parked in the drive-thru right now. Hey, sir.
But Brooks does not respond. Brooks appears disoriented and incoherent when he awakens. The officer asks if he's tired and then directs Brooks to pull over into a parking spot. Eventually, Brooks moves the vehicle after more prodding from the officer, who had to wake Brooks for the second time.
Yo. What's up, my man?
The officer approaches Brooks' parked car and inquires about his drinking habits. Brooks informs the officer that he has only had one drink. The officer radios several requests for another officer to conduct a DUI test while Brooks searches for his license. Another officer arrives on the scene a few minutes later. The second officer begins questioning Brooks about how he got there after a quick explanation from his colleague. Brooks claims he has no recollection of being in the drive-thru queue, and it appears he is lost. The second officer then administers a breathalyzer test to Brooks, who admits to drinking and that it was his daughter's birthday.
It was my daughter's birthday, intent to, have a good time. And I said, babe, I'm hungry. Let's go.
A struggle ensues when the officers realize Brooks has had too much to drink and decide to handcuff him. Because the cameras fall off during the altercation, it's difficult to tell what's going on in the footage captured by the two cameras. However, the dash cam footage from the officers' cruisers shows the three men on the ground fighting. The dash cam footage shows one of the officers preparing his taser while the other officer holds Brooks from behind. Brooks eventually gains control of the taser and escapes. He hits one of the officers in the face as he stands up. The officer takes a step back and deploys his own taser on Brooks as the man flees.
I think he agreed.
Only one camera, a surveillance camera from outside the Wendy's, captured what the others did not: the fatal encounter. Most of the encounter with the police occurs just out of frame in the surveillance video. However, As Brooks flees the officers, he comes into view of the surveillance camera, which is followed by both officers. Brooks then turns around and appears to point the taser at one of the officers, who upholsters his handgun and fires. Brooks is seen falling to the ground in the video. The surveillance camera captured the moment Brooks fell, but there was no sound. However, the sound of the 3 gunshots was captured by all the other cameras. Surveillance video shows other cars in the drive-thru pulling into parking spaces. Some of the drivers exit their cars to film the scene. The officers attempt CPR after a few moments. More officers and an ambulance arrived shortly after. Body camera footage also captured audio of bystanders berating the officers. Brooks was taken to the hospital and died there. Number 1. Man punches deputy to avoid arrest. In this video, police respond to a weapons complaint at a home. The reporting parties told deputies that when they arrived home, there was a car in their driveway they did not recognize. The driver was outside of the vehicle and the homeowners asked him to leave. One homeowner reported that the man pulled a pocket knife out and threatened him with it before driving away. Deputies located the suspect vehicle and conducted a felony traffic stop.
1033
Let me see your hands!
Indian Trail Sports Complex.
The driver and sole occupant of the vehicle was identified as 29-year-old Anthony Michael Petrillo. Petrillo was visibly irate and would not comply with verbal commands. Petrillo exited the vehicle and began yelling at deputies while pacing back and forth. Deputies instructed Petrillo to walk backwards to them, and upon getting close to deputies, Petrillo turned and faced deputies before attempting to run away. The ground was wet, and Petrillo lost his footing. As a deputy approached Petrillo, Petrillo stood up and squared up to the deputy and threw 2 punches at the deputy, striking him in the chest and the abdomen. The deputy bear-hugged Petrillo and forced him to the ground to secure him in handcuffs. Paramedics then threatened Petrillo for minor abrasions. Throughout the encounter, Petrillo remained irate, irrational, uncooperative, and combative. Petrillo was arrested and charged. On the way to the jail, Petrillo was very agitated and slammed his head against the vehicle divider several times, as well as repeatedly kicking the door. He was taken to hospital to assess his injuries but refused medical treatment and was transported to jail. Inside Petrillo's vehicle, deputies found 2 pocket knives and narcotics paraphernalia, including baggies with residue in them and used syringes. It's clear that being a cop is not easy, and one wrong decision can change the lives of people in an instant. I still can't get over the Rayshard Brooks intervention.
Hey, you're parked in the drive-thru right now. Hey, sir. You right?
It's so sad. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? And well, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be a part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. Thanks for watching and see you next time.